Want to check if a cell is empty? Here is how in 3 different ways. In the first method, we use the if function. Now, what the if function does is check a cell or range against a condition. Then you specify what should happen if the condition is true or false. You start writing the formula by selecting a cell and type is if, open bracket, followed by the cell or range you want to reference. In this case, it's cell C6. Next, you specify the logical expression. In our case, check if C6 is empty. So C6 is equal to double quotation marks, ending the statement with semicolon. Here, the double quotation marks in Google Sheets are the equivalent of empty or blank. Then, you specify what happens if the value is true. This would be double quotation marks. In other words, leave it blank. Last, you put in whatever you want to happen if value is false. I love using emojis in my spreadsheets. So for this example, I put in a waving hand emoji. Now, you could call it done here, but the next formula I'm about to share with you reads easier and is shorter. You start out the same as before. Is, if, open bracket, select your cell reference, and instead of equals to, you type open angle bracket and closing angle bracket, which is Google Sheets not equal to operator, followed by double quotation marks. And just like in the first formula, you now specify the value is true statement, which in this example is another lovely emoji. Then you end with a semicolon, followed by a closing bracket. Let's quickly test it. And voila! Another successful way to check whether a cell or range is or is not empty. However, I personally like using the next and final formula, which, if you ask me, is even easier to read. But before I share my favorite formula with you, consider subscribing to the Bootstrap parent to receive more content like this. So, here is method number 3. Is, if, open bracket, and instead of equals to or not equal to operators, I like to use the ISBLANK function. The name says it all. It tests whether a cell or range is blank. So, write ISBLANK, open bracket, and select your cell reference, ending with a closing bracket and a semicolon. You now specify the logical expression. Now put in the value is true statement. You can add another semicolon here, signaling the if function that you want to leave it blank. To finish the formula, you add the value if false statement. By now you know I love the emojis, so let's add one to wrap up here. Curious to learn how to apply this and other formulas to an entire column? Then this next video is for you.